welcome guys to episode 40 of the Bearzi podcast. Today I got my buddy Jaylin, who is a content creator, YouTuber, and a lifestyle influencer who is actually 18 years old and half my age, pretty much. And Jaylin was happy to come on the podcast and talk some self-improvement, talk some YouTube stuff. So how you doing, bro? And good morning.
Good morning, man. Well, today's a good day. Can't complain. Everything's good. This is my first time doing a podcast, so if I may come off as a little nervous, like it's first time, so yeah.
Hey, that's all right, man. You got to start somewhere, right? I remember that when I did my very first podcast, I was like so nervous. I didn't know what to do. And it was hard because I had no guest.
Yeah.
It was just me by
Oh,
myself.
yeah.
And I was like, I was like, this is
Yeah.
awful. I'm like, but the thing was, I was so obsessed with starting a podcast. And you probably know this feeling with starting a YouTube
Oh, yeah.
channel. In the beginning, you have all this like motivation and inspiration to start creating content,
Yeah.
right? And I feel like just overcoming that initial barrier of just forcing yourself to
Yeah.
do it, just makes everything so much
Oh,
easier. So don't worry, this podcast will be a lot easier the next time you do your second
yeah,
one.
for sure. Yeah.
So, anyways, let's talk a little bit about YouTube in general, because this is where kind of our paths both
Mhm.
cross. You actually reached out to me. I think it was on a YouTube comment for, I don't know, one of my videos. I
Yeah.
think that's how we got
Mhm.
connected. But I'm just interested in like, when did you get into the whole like self-improvement world? How did you start the self-improvement journey? Like, how did that all start?
Okay, so for a young guy myself, right? I think this was about like 2020, around when COVID first hit, right? And when everything is in lockdown and like you just have a lot of time for yourself. During that time, I had a lot of time to really like think about my life, think about where I'm going, where my path is leading me to, and I never really used to be like this. I used to hang around like normal teenagers. I would just go to like parties all the time, like jams and stuff. And I reached the point where this party was just like it's it was getting too I was getting too used to it, and there was no joy in it anymore. And like around that time, like I was also going through like a little breakup, right? And during this breakup, like it actually destroyed me. Like my whole view on the world was dark, and I never really liked living anymore. Like my vibration was super low. And then came to a point in time where I just started like trying to find myself. I started going outside more, find my like recreating that foundation within myself, like trying to like better myself in all ways. To be honest, the main focus of why I wanted to better myself, like, was just to get back at my ex, right? But then during that process, I literally like I just fell in love with just bettering myself. And so it never became about my ex anymore. But like yeah, so back continuing to what I was saying, um when I was bettering myself and stuff like that, I started uh meditating. I came across like a lot of YouTube like self-improvement videos, cuz when you want to better yourself, you search up how to become more attractive or something like stuff. It started out with stupid questions like that. And then I went more deep into the rabbit hole, and it was talking about nofap, right? And then when I first
Mm.
came like across nofap, I'm like, what is this? Like this sounds stupid, right? But then I started watching a lot of videos, and then I was like, maybe I should try it out to see if it would actually work, right? And I remember like I feel a lot of times, obviously it's hard to like get on like a habit right away, like especially if it's something you've been addicted to, like the site and stuff like that. You get addicted to that stuff. So um I think it came around a point where like there was this thing called the alignment. There was like the 2020 alignment, right? And this was like the age of Aquarius, and they were saying how if you don't get on your shit now, you're not gonna make it. And so I really took that to heart, right? And I started, like, when it came to like my senior retention journey, I never relapsed ever since. Because I made a note in
Mm,
mind also that um that if I relapse, I will not meet my soulmate. I will not meet like the girl that is for me. And around 118 days, I remember like I remember on this day exactly, it was on my birthday, I actually met a girl. I'm still with her now. It's been like 2 years. And we basically like we just connected. Like she was on the same page as me. She was spiritual. And she ended up converting to like vegan because of me, and she started getting on like all these good habits and stuff. And so like because of no fap and all this like self improvement, I ended up attracting a female that was for me, right? And I would say that the self improvement journey still continues. I still got a lot of areas in life that I gotta improve on. Like you can never say that you know it all, you know? And yeah.
mhm. Oh, that's good, man. Yeah, the constant trying to improve yourself, it's like a journey that has no end.
Yeah.
It just keeps going and going and going. But it's interesting though. So you mentioned a girlfriend that's vegan. So are you vegan too?
Well, I was vegan for like a year, and then I kind of like went to pescatarian because now that I'm like into the fitness, I'm trying to bulk up now, so I
Mhm.
gotta eat some fish. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm conflicted. I'm really conflicted when it comes to the vegan diet
Hmm.
because I'm kind of like you. I'm in the fitness world. My YouTube channel, it started as a fitness
Oh yeah.
channel.
Wow.
Believe it or not. Yeah, you can't see the videos anymore because I unlisted them
Hmm.
all. But originally, it was a fitness channel. I was going to become a personal trainer. I
Wow.
was training like friends and clients at the gym, and that was my gateway into self improvement. It was
Hmm.
fitness. But what I realized is that wasn't what I loved. I loved all the other stuff like the cold showers, the meditation, the mindfulness, the journaling. That's what was my true passion. So like the weightlifting stuff, it kind of fell
Yeah.
off. But I still like exercise regularly, and fitness and health is important to me. And diet is very interesting because people have these ideologies when it comes to diet where they believe their way of eating is correct and everyone else is
Yeah.
incorrect. And I see this all the time with carnivores and vegans, and they go back and forth and plant based and eating
Hmm.
meat. And it just gives me this massive, massive
Yeah.
headache. And I recently had a guy on who is a
Yeah.
vegan. And, I'm someone who supports both diets.
Yeah.
What I think the bad diet, like the true enemy is McDonald's, fast food,
Yeah.
sugar, seed oil. Like that is the true enemy. It shouldn't be like people eating salad versus people eating grass-fed beef. Like those are both generally healthy options, right? I feel like you guys should join together and go against like the chocolate and Snickers and cake and cookie. That's a real bullshit
That's
food,
very.
right? And so I'm someone who I don't have a diet with a type of foods per se. I've fallen more in the lines of the intermittent
Hmm.
fasting type
Okay.
of routine where I concentrate less on what I eat, but I focus more on when I eat, where I go through extreme periods of food deprivation.
Hmm.
And that's something that, again, has worked for
Yeah.
me. But also, like, whenever I talk to someone who is carnivore or
Hmm.
pescatarian or vegan or whatever, Atkins, whatever diet you want to talk about. What's another popular? What's the one with all the fats?
Keto.
Keto is
Yeah.
another big
Hmm.
one. Like I always try to be very supportive of
Yeah.
them because I know they are making healthy
Yeah.
choices and they're not falling into the whole fast
Yeah.
food
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
type of diet, right? I think that's the enemy.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I got a question. Why did you get into intermittent fasting?
Why did I get into
Yeah, and
fasting?
what did you notice from just doing it in general?
Okay, so the first big difference that I saw is I have kind of like autoimmune
Hmm.
disease. I have horrible, horrible food allergies
Mm,
where I'm allergic to When I was a kid, I was allergic to all dairy,
Wow.
all fish, all nuts, grains, wheats, bread. I have so
Wow.
many allergies, and you can see it on my skin
Yeah.
too. Like you can see it on my
Yeah.
skin, even on my arms. Like I have these patches of like redness.
Oh.
Like if I eat some pizza
Wow.
or I eat some pasta, like my skin just goes red. It gets all red. Like I have horrible
Wow.
food allergies, right? And so this was something I struggled with like my whole life. Like I had, when you're a
Yeah.
teenager, you have like
Yeah.
pimples,
Mhm.
right? And oh, my pimples, my oily skin, you got to wash my
Yeah.
face. For me, it was like, oh, I ate a chocolate bar. Now I have a rash all over my face and it's itchy and it's bleeding. And like that
Wow.
was my issue as a teenager was I had this problem with food. And when you go out with your friends, oh, let's go get a Boston pizza or something, get some pasta, get some pizza, get some wings. Then you want to have like cake and ice cream and all that stuff killed me.
Yeah.
And then this is where I started looking into diets, right? I tried keto, I tried
Yeah.
vegan, I kind of tried carnivore, but not really. The organ meat stuff
Yeah.
I kind of
Mhm.
dislike. I find liver like really disgusting. But um so I tried all these diets and they helped me from a caloric
Yeah.
standpoint with controlling my calories and I was like you, I was bulking up when I was
Right.
younger. But it wasn't until I got into intermittent
Yeah.
fasting where I saw this like huge benefit
Mhm.
of like my not just my
Yeah.
skin but also like my energy
Mm.
levels, like because I'd only eat in like a small
Yeah.
window. Like I eat sometimes I eat only dinner and that's it.
Oh.
On other days I'll go lunch and dinner, so maybe 1 or 2 meals a
Yeah.
day. And because of that, there was no breakfast, and breakfast is like toast and cereal and
You
milk,
can't even
again
you can't
stuff I'm
even eat
allergic
that.
to. Yeah, I can't eat that. So I cut that
Yeah.
out. And then because of
Mhm.
fasting, I cut out snacks because I'm not snacking. So what do people have during snacks? So they have granola bars and fruits, like bullshit stuff. And again, I was allergic to that
Yeah.
stuff. So the fasting window, it forced me to eat proper whole foods meals.
Yeah.
There was no more snacking and no more
Yeah.
breakfast. And that's when my skin started to clear up. And I was like, oh, okay, this is very
Wow.
interesting. And then I got into like the health benefits of
Yeah.
fasting, where it's like prolonging your
Yeah.
lifespan, where you don't want to be always digesting food 24/7. You want to give your body a
Yeah.
break. And I've been reading all these scientific papers about like reducing people that are at risk of a
Mm.
dementia. I believe it's very helpful for dementia and diabetes. Like there's all this great information coming out about
Yeah.
fasting. But to answer your question, it was like removing the breakfast and removing the snacks cleared up my skin, and that's what got me into fasting.
I see. I see.
Mhm.
Wow. That's a big change for sure. Did you like lose a lot of weight from that?
From the
Yeah.
fasting, kind of not really, because I've been a hard
Yeah.
gainer my whole life. Like when I was your age, I was probably 120
Mhm.
pounds. Like I was mad
Wow.
skinny, dude. Like the first time I went to the gym with my
Yeah.
friends, everyone was benching
Yeah.
135, so
Yeah.
one
One
plate.
plate.
And I was like, I don't think I can do that, guys. Right? So they're like, okay, start easy. Like do our warm up set, which is two
Yeah.
25s, right? So that's 95
Hmm.
pounds. And I couldn't bench it. I got I got 225 stuck on my so 95 pounds I got stuck on my chest and I couldn't even
Yeah.
bench it. And then like all my friends laughed at me,
Yeah.
right? Because they're like, dude, you're so weak. You can't bench 95
Yeah.
pounds. And so I was more in like a bulking up phase where I needed to gain more because I was so skinny and weak all the
Yeah.
time. So weight was never an issue for me in terms of like losing weight. I was always trying to
Oh.
gain. I was always trying to add
Yeah.
calories, right? And even now, like right now, I'm 37 and I weigh 170, I
170. Oh
think.
wow.
Yeah, 170. So it took me like what 20 years to slowly build up like and I'm not this is like good amount of weight. I'm not like fat or like obese. Like I'm generally still fairly
Yeah.
lean. I have like a very lean frame, but it's just because like
Hmm.
genetically, right? Tall, skinny, kind of lanky dude, right? And just super weak.
Yeah.
And so like the fasting, um, it was kind of tough, but when I would eat a meal, there'd be like either lots of olive oil or avocado or like a big salad with a lot of healthy fats. And in fitness, fat is like one of the most calorically dense foods, right, in terms of macronutrients and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my the weight was never really a thing for me on fasting.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, how's the gym like for you?
The gym right now, well, obviously we all started from somewhere, like I remember when I first started getting serious into weight training. First I was doing calisthenics, so around 2020 I was doing only calisthenics because I was always scared of like stunting my height, right? And so
Oh,
I never touched the weight. Only thing I do is just arms, I never do like squats or bench press. I'm like, bro, this shit's gonna stunt my weight. I mean, sorry, stunt my height. And so basically, um, I think this was about like 8 months ago, and I started seriously like weightlifting and eating more because I wanted to get stronger. And like the reason why I really wanted to get stronger was because this kind of situation happened in my family. We had like this crazy neighbor, and it was. I'm gonna just make it short because it was pretty like it was a crazy story. So the neighbor basically like he hit my like it was a crazy night. So how do I say this? So basically, right, he he's known for like always just coming up to us and like talking like shit about me and my family and stuff like that because he was a little like he had some loose screws. And one
oh,
night I was playing basketball with my cousin, and he was like, "Can you guys stop playing basketball and stuff like that?" It was around like 10 at night in the summer, and like like we're teenagers, we're just playing like having trying to have fun outside. This guy comes on our driveway and he pushes the net down, right? And so that
on your
on my
property?
property, yeah. And
Wow.
this mind you, this guy's like he has like 6 children. It's kind of crazy. I don't want to leak his whole life out there, but basically he's like 38 years old, around that age, and he's like a full grown adult, right? And he came on our property and just pushed our net over. So I go inside. My cousin goes inside. My brother goes inside, and they're like, he pushed the net over, right? And then my parents come out, and then basically like they were just going back and forth, like they're talking, like yelling at each other. And I knew it was about time, like something was about to happen, like something serious about to happen, like. And then basically like my dad and the guy started grappling, like right on the street.
Oh
And
shit.
then um I just remember like I kind of just like during that time when that thing was all happening, everything was so fast, right? It was like I was in just primal instincts. Like I couldn't like think for myself anymore. It was just protect family. That's it, right? And so basically like we're all just hitting him, because this guy's like he's tall. He's like a Jamaican guy. He's like 6'3", around that height. So but like he wasn't like muscular or anything. He was just like a slim build. And but the thing is like I guess he was like he had muscle, but yeah. So anyways, um so basically we're hitting him, and I had like all this built up anger because you know this has been happening for months now, and like I was just so ready to fight, and I was hitting him, and then I was so fueled with rage that I was ready to kill this guy, like I'm being so for real. And I go inside, and I went to go grab a knife, right? I don't know if I'm allowed to be saying this on here.
No, it's
Okay,
fine,
so
bro.
I went to go grab a knife, and by the time I come outside, I think my mom, like this, apparently somehow, this guy got like a pole in his garage, like he got a pole in his garage, and he just wow, wow, and he like hit my mom in her head, and it was bleeding, and like he literally like broke my aunt's arm, because like they're all out there, right?
What the
And then
fuck?
my dad like ended up getting him after, and then he kicked him or something, and the pole went flying. And then I just remember like when I came outside with knife, he was like about to fight my dad, so I stabbed him in the back. And then it wasn't like one of those like sharp knives. It was one of those like it was kind of dull, right? And so
Like a butter knife or something?
it wasn't really like a butter knife. It was kind of like it was it was just a very dull metal knife, right? In the kitchen. It was the
Okay.
first thing I could find. And then it snapped, like the whole thing just snapped, broke. It broke. And so I was like, what the hell? Right? So it didn't work. And then basically like
Holy shit.
basically he was on the ground with my dad just trying to choke him alive, and I was just like punching him on his back. Get off my dad. Get off my dad. I was just punching him. And like I punched him so hard to the point I was breaking my own hand. Like it was that bad, bruh. And uh basically the neighbors and everyone was outside, and it was very tragic because I see my mom crying on the street, but I didn't know that she was bleeding till like she was like, I'm bleeding. And then I went to her, and then like blood just dripping down her face like it was like a movie. And I was like, no, this can't be happening right now. Like I wasn't really processing what was going on at the time. And then my aunt, like she couldn't even move her arm. Like it was like even right now, it's better now, but like she can't do a lot of things now because of that. And the neighbor, basically one of the neighbors came and was just yelling. He was like, get off of him. And what happened was that like the police, my cousin and my brother were in the room watching, and they called the police. And like when the police came, he finally got off my dad. And yeah, it's basically what happened. Like it was pretty tragic. And ever since then, I just I just needed to like get stronger to protect my family if anything like that happened. And yeah,
Hmm. Wow, that's a crazy story, dude. Because, like, yeah, that will definitely kind of fuel you to get into the gym or maybe learn a martial art to, because at the end of the day, you want to protect your family,
yeah,
right? And that's so crazy how it that all escalated from you guys just playing basketball on your
literally,
property. That's what's so
yeah,
crazy. I'll never understand that because it's interesting because when I was your age, I loved basketball. I did everything basketball when I grew up.
mhm.
I had a net that we put at the end of our grass, like on our yard, and then we would play in the
Oh,
street. And our neighbor hated
oh
it,
yeah,
right?
wow,
Yeah, he hated me and my brother playing basketball all the time because he was afraid that our ball would bounce off the rim or backboard and hit his car,
mm,
right? Because the house that we lived in like a semi-detached
yeah,
house, so our house is like connected to our neighbor,
yeah,
all right? And so like, but at the end of the day, if kids are just playing basketball, that's a good thing for young people to do.
yeah,
Like, you guys are staying out of trouble. You're playing sports. You're doing something that makes you physically
yeah,
active. Like, if anything, like that's what adults should promote teenagers to do.
yeah,
It's to stay out of the streets, to stay out of like like the gangs or like bad situations, right? And sports is like a great thing. And for someone to like go on your property and like push over your net and tell you not to play, like that's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Like that's so crazy.
He had actually like a lot of like before that even happened. He had like a lot of like crimes before that, so this is not like nothing new apparently for him.
Oh, that's unfortunate, man. That just was it was he just like the one bad apple in the neighborhood type of
Literally,
thing?
yeah, he was causing all the trouble for everyone, but we happened to live right beside him.
Oh.
Yeah,
Do you still live there now?
yeah, we still live here now, but we have like this we have this thing where you can't come like 100 meters like close to us or anything like that. I forgot what you call it.
A
Yeah,
restraining order?
restraining order, and he moved somewhere. I don't know where.
Oh, he moved. Like he moved
Yeah, his
away?
whole family like moved somewhere to like, cause we're in Pickering, right? and he moved
Mhm.
somewhere like to Toronto, like around like Warden area, if you know where that is.
Yeah, I know where
Yeah,
that is. So closer to me.
yeah,
So the crazy guy moved away from you and closer to me.
he's in the middle of
Shit.
us, but Karma probably dealt with him a long time ago because he never ended up coming back. So yeah,
Mm, wow. So have you lived in Pickering your whole
no,
life?
I actually, so I live with my grandparents. Like, uh, when I was so me and my parents, we live with my grandparents, right? And lived by like Warden Station around that area, and
Mhm.
then I basically stayed there till I think it was grade 5 is when we moved to Pickering. But the thing is, I didn't go to school here because no one was at the house to watch me after, right? And so
Oh.
I went to my grandma's house, which is in my other grandma's house in Malvern, like Scarborough, Malvern, and I went to school there. And yeah, I pretty much graduated in Scarborough. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the east
Hmm.
side. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, because I'm like on the north. Like I grew up on like the west side of Toronto, like Mississauga, Brampton area. And now I live in Vaughan. You ever been to
Oh
Wonderland?
yeah, plenty of.
Yeah. So, so I live there. That's where
Oh,
I
right
live.
by Wonderland.
Yeah, I can
Wow.
like see the roller coaster like from my house. I
Holy.
live.
Are
Yeah,
you
so
like
I'm pretty
are you
much.
like close enough to like hear the rides to itself?
Not
Oh,
that
that
close. I can see it in the distance, but I don't
mm,
really hear the noise. I see like the
yeah.
fireworks, like the Canada Day fireworks they do at
Yeah.
Wonderland, and unfortunately, I get all the traffic
Oh,
because all the people, everyone's going to Wonderland,
yeah.
right? And it's like a pain. And then across the street, they built a new
Oh,
hospital,
wow.
so yeah, so traffic is like a pain in the ass for me.
Yeah.
But that's interesting though. Like it was funny because when you messaged me and you're like, "Oh, I'm from
Yeah.
Pickering," I was like, "Wow, yeah, right." Because most people I talk to on YouTube are people like from the
Oh, wow.
U.S. I hardly ever talk to anyone that's like a content creator from Canada, especially one that's in Ontario as
Yeah.
well. So I thought that was
I know
pretty
when I
cool.
seen Vaughn, I was like, this guy's from Canada, Ontario. Like, that's how you know this is like rare to find because like just for us to be like, wow, this guy's from Ontario is like it's you never find that
Mhm,
those people. But I wanted to tell you how I found you. So basically, I think I was going through like a Hansa community chat channel. I don't know. I think I was looking in the comment section. I was looking at all these other YouTubers, right? And then I happened to
mhm,
stumble across yours, and I really like was drawn to yours because, like, number one, you had like good quality content. Like your stuff was good quality, and you were low. You were like a kind of small creator, and so I was like, maybe I can like connect with this guy and see like
mhm.
if we can collab or something. Because I was looking to collab with like other YouTubers and just talk about self improvement stuff like that. And I think I was trying to find your Instagram, and then I was like Canada. I was let's go. He's from Canada. I got hyped,
Yeah,
but yeah.
that's awesome. So is Hamza like one of your big inspirations for self improvement?
Okay, so I wouldn't say Hamza was the first. He was like kind of around like right now, like around this year. Hamza is definitely a big influence in my life. But around 20 2020, I was watching a lot of like I don't know if you know these people, but Von Two Cut and Spiritual Soul.
No, I don't
Okay,
know.
so anyways, they're like these other YouTubers. They talk about self improvement, but during that time, I found out about Jordan Green. You know
Oh yeah,
Jordan
yep.
Green.
Mhm.
He was small back then though, like around 2020. Jordan Green. I remember like I seen Ice Cold JT's videos because this guy comments under every video. This I'm like, what the hell? So I look at his channel, 5K subscribers, right? It's probably like
Uh,
2021, and I was just like, this guy. Like I watched one of his videos and I just knew he had a good personality, and I was like, this guy's gonna blow up this year. And the next thing you know, a
mhm.
year later, he's at 100. What is he at? 200 and something, 200 something K subscribers. So like that's just inspirational to me. You know, that's my drive. That's my motivation. And I also just want to do it just to better people's lives as well. Just as much as they did, I want to like share my own story. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, that's good, man. Yeah, I figured Hamza, Ice Cold JT, and Jordan Green or whatever, they were probably your inspiration because they're sort of in your age range, like late teens, early 20s. Like those are the influencers that you can connect with the
yeah,
most. Whereas my channel, because I'm older, I focus more on people who are kind of like
right,
25 plus.
mm,
So the people who are either just finishing
yeah,
university and they're entering the
yeah,
workforce, or they drop out of school or don't go to university at all and they're kind of trying to figure out their career and what their passion is in
mm,
life. So that's kind of like my target demographic that I go after. And it's interesting because I do like to talk to the younger generation as well because I've had people on this podcast before that are like 20, 21. Like a lot of YouTube, like
yeah,
YouTube is a young person's
yeah,
game, right? There's not many people like my age
oh,
that they're trying to grow a YouTube channel,
yeah, for
right?
sure,
Like when you're 37, you probably have a day job, you probably have a mortgage, you're probably
yeah,
married, you probably have kids, and I have all those things,
yeah,
right? And so, but at the same time, I still think there's a lot of value in kind of
yeah,
targeting a specific group, like finding your tribe or finding your people, right?
mm,
And even though Hamza and Ice Cold JT, their content doesn't
mm,
really resonate with
yeah,
me because I'm past that stage in my life. Like I'm not
yeah,
trying to build an aesthetic
yeah,
body to try to get girls,
yeah,
right? Like like I'm past that. I've been married for 8 years and I have
yeah.
2
You don't need
kids.
that right
So
now.
like yeah, so that part is all done for
Yeah,
me. And the same thing with like with working out, my workout routine has shifted to where I'm just trying to maintain. I'm trying to build mobility, flexibility. I'm trying to avoid injury. I'm not chasing PRs anymore. Whereas before I was always chasing PRs on bench, squat, and deadlift, right? That was like my driving factor going to the gym. Like, yes, like PR day today, we're gonna squat 315, which for me, squatting 315 is a lot. And it was like that's just what it was before. But now I feel like it's good to focus on your group of people, but also don't get arrogant and conceited where you don't want to listen to the younger generation. And I try to stay very open minded in this regard, where I look for people that are in my age. I look for people that are older than me and also look for people that are younger. And I try to gain perspective from all those groups of people because at the end of the day, even though you might be like half my age and younger than me, you are equally as smart as I am. There's no difference. The only difference is I might have more life experience. But unfortunately, a lot of older people, they look down on the younger generation. They think like they can't learn anything from them, and I feel like that's a huge mistake. So I do watch like Hamza and Ice Cold JT, from time to time, and even like some Andrew
yeah.
Tate, which is kind of like a wild dude to
Oh my,
watch. Um, but I feel like there's some benefit to all these creators, right? And just to take bits and pieces and ideas from all of them, and then try to mold them in your own way and apply them to your own
right,
life, right?
exactly, yeah. Well, I got a question. What do you think about Andrew Tate, man?
Okay, so when the whole cancel culture stuff was happening, there's this very strange mob mentality that people have that when someone is on a sinking ship, everyone wants to jump on board and join that team because if he's getting canceled, if he's sinking, he's obviously in the wrong. So everyone wants to be part of the winning team. So they jump on board. F this guy. He's a misogynist. He hates women. Cancel him. He's like a bad dude. Everyone thinks that immediately. Whereas I kind of stopped and I was like, okay, who is this guy? Like, I don't know anything about him. And I saw like two YouTube shorts, like two 30-second clips of him saying crazy shit. And I was like, whoa, okay, this is kind of rough. But then I'm like, okay, are these clips being taken out of context? Like, what's the whole, like, where is this from? And those shorts were taken from like a 2-hour podcast. And I was like, okay, this is insane. Let me take a minute. Let me watch the entire podcast. Let's listen to the entire conversation and then see what this guy's about. And I wanted to make my own conclusion, free from other people's influence. And I realized 95 to 98% of what he says is great stuff, like especially for young men, whether it's like accountability, discipline, work ethic, waking up early, starting a business, being accountable, like all these amazing ideas. But then there's like a couple things he said that's a little rough around the edges, right? But I'm like, you want to throw this guy away for the bottom 2% and let the other 98% of like the great ideas he have, like those are gone now. And so like I kind of have a problem with the whole cancel culture thing because I know this is an unpopular opinion, but I actually like the guy. I think the positives outweigh the negatives, even though the negatives are so crazy.
Yeah, I agree too. I agree.
It's just a tough thing because then if you support Andrew Tate or if you're pro Andrew
Mm,
Tate, now you're a
I
misogynist,
know.
right? Now you hate
Yeah.
women, right? And it's like, well, that's not what this is, right? I'm pro men, but I'm also pro female too. Like I'm pro women's rights, I'm pro women's ability to vote,
Yeah.
and equality, and all these things,
Hmm.
right? Like why does it have to be one or the other?
Exactly.
Like can't we just like focus on like the positives? But no, it's like, oh, the 2% that he said is terrible and he hates women, so we have to ban him. And I'm just like, oh, geez,
Yeah.
now this is kind of crazy, right?
Hmm.
So I don't know what else to think about him.
Yeah. I got another question. How do you like balance your just work, your YouTube, and like just having a family and stuff like that? How do you do that?
So this is where I'm eternally grateful for self
Yeah.
improvement because it taught me time management and discipline.
Hmm.
In my opinion, I think those are the two best takeaways you can take from self
Yeah.
improvement, right? And my YouTube channel, I created it in 2007.
Wow.
So I was 23, I think. I think I was 23. And it started off as a basketball channel. It was me playing ball because I used to ref. I used to be a referee. I used to coach. I used to like everything. I did everything basketball. I was obsessed. And then it became, and like that failed obviously, then it became like a video game channel, and it just became all these wild things for years, and all those videos are gone and deleted and
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And then I started self improvement in like 2015, I think, but I didn't even know it. I didn't even know it was self improvement. I just kind of like got into this idea of, oh, let's try to like maybe work out, or let's try to like read more books or whatever. But what it taught me is self discipline and time management is the most important things you can learn because it will help you so much later in life. So now, like, I have a wife, right? I have a 2 year old and a 3 month old. So I have two kids, I have a job, and I have a house that I just moved into 4 months ago. So I have all these responsibilities, right? But because of self improvement, I've been practicing daily like routine. I've been practicing daily routines. I've been practicing managing my time. I've been practicing being more
Right.
disciplined
Right.
and saying no to things like the hub
Right.
or junk
Yeah.
food or video
Mm.
games or Netflix
That's amazing.
marathon
Yeah.
sessions, right? So by proxy, it's made me a very productive father and human being where I can kind of balance all these things. And I'm a very ambitious person. Like I have a YouTube channel, I do shorts, I do a live stream, I do a podcast, I have a website and a newsletter. So I'm doing a lot of stuff. And I used to work on the side as a
Oh
videographer.
wow.
Like this is where all this like video skills come from because I did like some wedding work in the
Yeah.
past and like videography stuff like
Hmm.
that. But again, it's the time management and discipline are so huge because those two things will carry on later in life. Like right now, like you might be doing, like the look maxing, right, for your body and the way you look. You might be doing SR, so semen retention, and all that type of stuff, which is great. But when you're in your 20s, when you're in your 30s, when you're in your 40s, do you have time management and are you disciplined? Like those are the two things that will take you so far in life. And I'm lucky. I'm really lucky because of that. And it was all like kind of like an accident. This wasn't something that I planned on, right? Whereas like kind of you guys, right, when you're 18, you have these YouTube videos, you can, listen to all these people's experiences, right, in self-improvement. Where when I was 18, I was watching like, I don't know, Shaq and Kobe or whatever, right? Like I was just watching basketball and playing Call of Duty or Halo. Like that's all I was doing. There wasn't any of this like self-improvement, go to the gym type of stuff in my life. I didn't know any of that type of stuff, right? So yeah, it was just those two things. It's made me so much more productive, and I still have bad days like where I'm overwhelmed, but because of those two habits I've built up, I've been able to persevere and push through as a human being, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's I don't know, for me, like that's my whole thing with self improvement. It's like you can you can learn all these habits along the way. Like I'm into the whole intermittent fasting, cold showers, gratitude journaling, that type of stuff. But it can only help you so like it can only take you so far, right? But if you build those really good positive core fundamental habits where you're going to bed early, you're not watching Netflix and watching the hub late at night, and you wake up early, and you start your day off right, and you go to the gym and you eat healthy, like you're building a strong, energetic, healthy body, and that will help you with discipline. It'll help you with your energy and your motivation and your time management, right? And these are the things that they'll improve your life, right? 100%, like 100%, they'll improve your life. So you just got to keep going, bro.
Yeah, that's true. Right now, I would say that like the phase in life as a teenager, you have the most energy, the most testosterone building up right now. So it's like, I guess right now, like it's just about building the masculine frame, building like my character, and just like, learning a lot of things just to build my personality overall. And I feel like when I'm around 30, 40, I already know I'm not gonna be like this all the time. I feel like I'm gonna be just a calm, relaxed guy, and try to just maintain everything, try to live long. But as of right now, it's like I gotta grind. I gotta get
Hmm.
get stronger and stuff like that. But yeah, it's interesting because the different perspectives between like you and me, so it's good to hear from your side because like down the road I'm gonna probably be in your shoes. I'm gonna have kids, gonna be working, doing content creation, and it's good to see how you manage that, and it's good for me to know that because then I can know for my future and how to deal with stuff like that. So yeah,
Hmm.
I think it's great.
Yeah, that's huge, man. Especially like learning from other people's
Oh
mistakes,
yeah.
right? And learning from, you know, because there's so many mistakes that I've made in my life. Like my biggest, I don't know if you would call it a regret,
Hmm.
but one of my biggest wastes of time in my life was trying to go to college and
Right.
university. Like I grew up in a family where university is extremely important. Like my mom has a bunch of brothers and they're all computer
Yeah.
engineers. They all went to the University of Toronto. They all have degrees. And I'm the eldest out of all my cousins. So like Derek was supposed to be the
Yeah.
first. He was supposed to set the example,
Mm.
and I was like, I had to go to college or I had to go to university, but it wasn't for me.
Mm.
And I forced myself. I kept trying. I wasted like 4 or 5 years of time for something that it wasn't going to
Wow.
work. It wasn't going to work. It just wasn't.
Hmm.
Like I went to two or three different colleges and a university, like three or four completely different programs, and I failed all of them. I dropped out of all of them, and it just didn't work out for me. And I knew at an early age I was always meant to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It just was in my blood, even though no one in my family is an entrepreneur. I was always different. I always had this like different mindset about work and my life and what I wanted to do. And lucky enough for me, when I was your age, when I was 18 or 19, finally dropped out of. I went to Ryerson University in Toronto, and I dropped out,
Yeah.
and I started my own business, which went for 9 years.
Wow.
So I was a moderately successful
Yeah.
entrepreneur from 18 to 27, where I had my own
Yeah.
business. And eventually, it kind of failed, but I was lucky enough where I saw the painting on the wall or the writing on the wall, and I got out and I kind of cashed out. I ended the
Yeah.
business, took my money, and kind of moved on in life, right? But I learned these skills as an
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur. But then what happened was it sort of punished me because I entered the workforce at 27 with no education
Mm.
or no real skills that I could provide to
Right.
corporations,
Right.
right? So that was kind of problematic in one sense because of my drive to be an entrepreneur. It hurt me when I had to get a regular day job, right? So it's like it's kind of tough because I tell people, education is important. Like, don't get me wrong, it's very, very important. But a university and college education is not the only way.
Mm-hmm.
There are other ways that you can do too,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can buy books, you can start a business, you can create a brand, you can create a YouTube channel. Like, there's so many things you can do now. And I always try to remind, like, especially younger people, when I talk to, I'm sort of like aiming at the 24 to 25-year-olds, like I said, like the people that are searching for, what's their passion in life. Like, this is a question I get asked a lot. Oh, how'd you find your passion? I feel lost in life. Oh, what's my purpose in life? I don't know what to
Yeah.
do. And it's like, you got to really try to figure that out. And the only way you can do that is figuring it out for yourself.
Yeah.
No one can tell you,
Mm-hmm.
right? No one can tell you have to go to university and do this engineering program will make you successful. Or you have to be a doctor. You have to be a lawyer, because my parents, like my parents' generation, that's how they thought, right? My parents were like immigrants, right? They immigrated to
Mm-hmm.
Canada. They wanted to give me and my brother a better life, so they worked hard. They gave us an opportunity to get a post-secondary education and live a better life. And they look at Derek, oh, he just threw it away, right? But like I was never that type of person to do
Yeah.
that. And I always have this idea where I tell people education doesn't end with school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even right
Mm-hmm.
now, I'm a voracious reader. I'm always reading, I'm always learning, I'm always trying to read new, like, self-help
Yeah.
books, personal finance books, get better at video editing, how to use my camera. Like, I'm always trying to learn and become what's known as a perpetual learner.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you always want to keep learning and improving. And books don't end with high school
Yeah.
or grade 12 or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's something I try to instill into younger people. Like, hey, your parents love you, right? I know I'm a parent. I love my children. And the flaw there is that as a parent, you want your kids to be safe. You want them to take the safest, most conservative
Right.
option. And that's going to school and getting a day job. But you have to realize that for some people, that's not what they want. It won't make them happy, right? And so that's why I've sort of shifted into this whole social media content creation business plan that both of us are doing,
Yeah.
right? And hopefully it'll work out in the end.
Yeah. Personally, I want to talk about that, about the um parents like wanting me to take like the conservative route. So personally, I come from a Filipino household. So my mom, she's Filipino, but my dad's Trinidadian, right? And so
Hmm.
my mom's like, go to school, get an education, like go to college, do whatever. She doesn't care what I do as long as I get something, right? And I'm just like, what am I really gonna do unless I do like something that could help with like my content creation. So maybe like videography or um, marketing, like say for like if I'm supposed to like have an online business one day, I could learn marketing, stuff like that. But other than that, like if I'm gonna take something else besides that has nothing to do with my content creation, that's just gonna be a waste of my time, because I know what I want to do, and if it's not regarding to content creation, then it's honestly just gonna be a waste of time. And so I just wanted to talk about that because, like, it's just like um, you kind of have to like figure out what you got to do in your own life. Because I know a lot of like teenagers out there like who have strict parents, they have to be forced to go to school and stuff like that. But if they don't find like what they want to do before that, they kind of are just like they live this fake life. You know, they
Mhm.
don't just live for their own parents' expectations, and it's just sad to see. You know, like when like this person became a doctor, he's making all this money, right? But he never wanted to be a doctor. Little did you know he wanted to just be as simple as a musician. You know, he just wanted to like play the piano or something, and that was truly his passion. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that.
Yeah, that's it's tough. You know what's interesting is when I saw your Instagram
Yeah.
profile, I saw the two flags and I recognized them immediately.
Mm,
I knew you were Trinidad and Philippines
yeah.
because one of my good friends, he's from
Hmm.
Trinidad and his wife is
Oh
Filipino,
my.
and
Wow.
they yeah, and they have two sons.
Yeah. Oh my. Wow.
Um, yeah, it's funny,
That's
right?
weird.
And they live in Toronto,
Oh
and I've talked to him
yeah.
about this kind of idea a lot because he is how old is he now? He's like 50 something. He's like my friend, my coworker. He's like in his 50s. His kids are your age, I
Yeah.
believe. And again, his wife, I believe she's a nurse, which is very typical for Filipino people. Like I have a lot of Filipino friends, so I know what that whole nursing thing is about.
Yeah.
Trust me, they push that on you,
Oh
bro.
yeah.
And so I think one of his sons is into some type of healthcare,
Mm.
and the other one wants to play basketball.
Oh, okay.
Like he tried out for the Raptors
Oh
905 G League
wow.
team, I
Yeah.
think, this year. Yeah, he's really into basketball. I think he plays rep.
Yeah.
And so and it's funny because I'd go to his house and I'd see his son. He'd be playing basketball on the street. I'm like, yeah, keep going, bro. I'd always like, encourage him, right? Because again, I love basketball.
Yeah.
And I'd have these interesting conversations with him because he had this one son who's the older one, very into school, very responsible. I don't know if he finished the program that he was doing. He was doing like some contracting work, which is
Yeah.
fine. And then he had another son who was completely different.
Mm.
He was into sports. He was into athletics. He wasn't, into like these corporations or day jobs. And
Yeah.
it was very strange because he's supporting them in completely different ways. And I'm like, this is like an interesting predicament to be in as a parent
Yeah.
because like people don't talk about this, but there's this very strange moment that you have as a parent
Mm.
where your personal
Mhm.
beliefs conflict with your instincts as a
Mm.
parent. As soon as I became a parent, there is this urge I have, this need. I need to protect my daughter and protect my son. I want them to
Mm.
go to
Yeah.
school. I want them to do what's safe. I want them to get a day job with a salary and benefits. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Why do I don't believe in any of that
Yeah.
stuff for myself? Why am I pushing it on
Mhm.
them? And I realized there's like this conflicting belief you have as a human
Yeah.
being with the instincts of a parent.
Wow.
And unfortunately, a lot of people are not introspective enough to stop and think about that and admit
Mhm.
it. And they kind of just act on
Mhm.
instinct, right? And they kind of force you, oh, my kids have to go to school. Education is the only way. And so like I've kind of stopped and thought about it, and I've come to this conclusion where if your parents want you to go to college or university, okay, that's fine. But does that mean you're going to go into massive amount of student debt?
Mhm.
If it is, then that's a huge
Yeah.
problem. If you have to get OSAP loans, you got to pay for your tuition, you got to pay for your textbooks, even if you have to live on campus or something or transportation to get
Yeah.
there, like it gets very, very
Oh
expensive.
yeah. Sure.
And I tell young people like student debt is a real trap if you're doing a program
Yeah.
you don't love.
That's true. Mhm.
And if you don't love the program that you're
Yeah.
doing, I highly, highly recommend not doing it.
Yeah.
Like if you want to be a lawyer or a doctor or an accountant, sure, that's a very easy linear path. You know what you have to do. You have to go to med school, you have to pass the
Yeah.
bar. Okay, no problem. But if you're like me and you're just going because you have to and you take economics or business administration or political science or sociology, like what are you doing? Like why are you wasting that money and time? Why not take that money and invest it into a business or start a YouTube channel? Like the cost for a YouTube channel is like what, 500 bucks a phone? That's the tuition for entry.
Literally.
it's like 500
Yeah.
bucks. You want to go to university or college, you're looking at 20, 30, 40, 50 grand,
Yeah.
right?
Crazy.
In debt. So if it's not something you really want to do, like I would try to open the discussion with your parents. You'd be like, hey, I don't love this. Is it smart going into like debt for this? Like, do you guys have money saved for me? Like, is there like some secret like fund for Jaylin for my education that I don't know
Yeah.
about? Right? Like, it's good to talk to them and try to bring up your concerns, right? And if they force you to go, for example, I know some kids, they don't have a choice, right? Your parents might force you, or they might kick you out, or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
But like if you can maybe do something that's in maybe filmmaking
Yeah.
or digital marketing, or something related to content
Yeah.
creation, then at least that's a start. Like at least you're compromising with them.
Mhm.
You're taking education serious, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard because especially if you have parents that are not
Oh, yeah.
entrepreneurs, they'll never understand what it's like to open a
Yeah.
business. They just think of it as risky and throwing your money away because there are no
Yeah.
guarantees, right? There are no guarantees in that line of work, but they never take into consideration your feelings as a human
Yeah.
being. Like I love my YouTube channel. I love content creation. I love this podcast. It makes me like so happy just to, share ideas and talk about things and, make a difference in the
Yeah.
world. I don't care about my career day job where I'm picking up boxes at the airport. I could care less.
Oh, wow.
That doesn't give me any passion in my
Yeah.
life, right? It doesn't give me any
Hmm.
fulfillment. I hate it. Like I hate it. I hate what I do as a day job. It's like a waste of my time, right? And so I feel like, again, I don't have all the answers, but I definitely think opening the lines of communication with your parents and trying to work around some type of
Yeah.
compromise is a great way to start.
Okay. Hey, do you mind if I use a washroom real quick?
Needed much needed
Yeah,
washroom
I
break.
needed that for sure.
So other than working out and the no fap stuff, what other kind of self improvement ideas are you on? Just out of my curiosity.
Well, like I would say just cold showers, right?
Oh, you're into the cold
Yeah, I'm
showers?
into that. In the mornings, I'm not gonna lie, it's getting hard now. Now that it's like getting cold outside, but in the summer it's easy. I can do that easy. But yeah, cold showers. Um, I like to read. Like I'm reading right now this Gary Vaynerchuk book. You know Gary V?
Yep, Gary V.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
reading one of his books. Um, actually, surprisingly, if you're into like longevity and stuff, I don't know if you read this book. It's called Ikigai.
Ikigai, yeah, I've
Oh
read
yeah,
it.
I know you would
Yeah.
love that book for sure. But
Those are my people, bro. The
yeah.
Japanese
Wait,
Ikigai.
you're Japanese?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I really love like the Japanese like philosophy and stuff like that. It's very interesting to definitely go into the like rabbit hole in that stuff because like Japanese people are like they all live so long, they look so young, they have
Mhm.
like all these secrets that like the Western world needs to know. So yeah. What else? Um hmm.
Meditation. I think you talked
Oh
about that
yeah,
earlier.
I actually did a meditation before I went into this podcast. I like to do it in the mornings. Like as soon as I wake up, I would just put on some candles and just meditate, try to just focus on my breath. And what else?
Wow, you're really mature for your age, dude.
I guess so. But I would say that's because of all like the good influence that's out there. I had a lot of like easy access to that information, I'd say. So I would say that our generation is blessed with that. But
Mhm.
I feel like only that information could be accessed for people who really want to know, because a lot of people
Mm.
don't feel like they need that type of information because they're already so comfortable with their lives. Like they're not having no hardships in life, so I feel like there's only a certain few of people that get into this information, and I think that's what makes them just different, and
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, that's because you know what? If you were to talk to most 18-year-olds and talk about meditation, they'll probably laugh at you.
Yeah.
To be perfectly
Hmm.
honest, like meditation, like you do what? You just like sit down and think about nothing? Like who does
Yeah.
that? You stare at a
Hmm.
wall? Like like that's the reaction that I
Oh yeah.
get from my friends.
Wow.
Yeah, they think I'm weird because I'm like the weird guy who
Mm.
like like all the things that I do are like and you do too. These are not mainstream meditation, cold showers. Like these aren't mainstream ideas. People like to be comfortable, right? They like to eat their sugar,
Yep.
right? They like to eat all they like their super hot showers. They just like to sit down in their car and sit down at work
Yeah.
and watch Netflix at the end of the day. Like that's a typical
Li-
North American person, right?
Literally.
And yeah, and the stuff that we do, it's kind of funny. It makes me
Yeah.
laugh because people will like sort of criticize me and laugh at
Yeah.
me, and I'm like, I'm just trying to improve my life, bro. It's like
Crazy.
it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. I don't know why. I guess it's because it's not of their normality. Like they don't think that that's
Mhm,
normal. So it's like for you to do something that seems hard to them, it's like, bro, what are you doing? You know,
mhm,
why aren't you like sitting down watching Netflix at home and stuff like that? Because that's like what's normal. And
mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, the meditation thing, to be perfectly honest, is the habit that I struggle with the most. It's the one that,
Hmm.
for whatever reason, I can't seem to get it down at a consistent rate. But I know the benefits of it. Like I've been practicing it on and off for I think 2 or 3 years now. I think it's been about 2.5 years I've been practicing meditation.
Yeah.
Not quite on a daily basis, but whenever I do, just being able to like clear your mind first thing in the morning and not
Yeah.
think. Because I'm always like thinking. I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to pay this bill, I have to go here, I have to buy this food. Like I never get a break. My mind never slows down. And the days where I kind of just stop and even just take 5 minutes, 5 minutes to think about nothing, just concentrate on my
Yeah.
breathing in and out, and just start my day off on in this like neutral state. Like I have so much less anxiety in my personal life just by taking a moment.
Yeah.
And it's one that I don't know how consistent you are with the habit,
Yeah.
but for me it's always a struggle. I For some reason I can't get it down
Mm.
every single
I,
day.
I would say that like at the beginning of me learning meditation, I was doing this every day. But like I think as I got comfortable again, I'm start like when you do something for too much and it becomes a habit, it's easy to meditate,
Mm,
You start to be like, I don't need to meditate today. And so I think with that when that happened, I started like getting off of the consistency of meditation. But just recently, I started getting back into it because I realized how much of an importance it is in my like daily life. Because I would notice that certain things would affect me, but back then when I was doing meditation all the time, it never used to be a problem, right? There was no problems at all. I was like, I think when you meditate all the time, it like keeps you in that neutral state, and it really does help clear your mind and stuff like that. And but for consistency, it's all about like just doing it. I, you don't have to do it every day, but like yeah, it may help with your everyday life. But I would say that just doing it when you feel like you really need it is when meditation really is important.
that's a good point. Like when you really need it.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I have these days where I'll go like every day for like a month. Yeah, it's like
yeah,
it's in my daily routine. I wake up, I do it.
hmm,
But then there's other days where like my life gets so hectic
yeah,
where I I know this is a terrible excuse. Oh, I don't have enough time. Like it could just be like a 5 minute
yeah,
meditation session. But like I always have this like stupid excuse like, oh, I have to do this for my kids, or oh, I gotta do this for work, or I gotta edit this video, and it always gets pushed to the side. Like I
yeah,
don't prioritize it
mm,
enough for whatever
yeah,
reason. And it's something that it's definitely one of my
yeah,
flaws because like I think a lot about like the flaws that I have as a human
yeah,
being because it really helps me pinpoint my inadequacies, and what can I work on? What can I improve? What can I get better at? Like taking a cold shower is so easy. You just turn the handle to blue. Done.
yeah,
going to the gym is no problem for me because I love
Yeah.
it. I have adjustable dumbbells, and I have an incline bench in my garage. Like,
Oh,
I built like a home
yeah.
gym during the pandemic,
Wow.
so I can work out in my garage. Right, I can.
Yeah.
There's no excuse, and I love it. It's fun,
Hmm.
and so those things, it's easy for me to stay consistent with it. But like, again, this meditation thing, it's like I love it whenever I do it. There's so much benefit,
Hmm.
but I just, for whatever reason, I just can't get it down on a daily basis.
Yeah.
It's something that I struggle with.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. Maybe I need to like block out a specific time in my
Mm,
morning. Maybe that will help.
yeah.
But
I would say
I don't know. I'll have to
I would
see.
say that I don't know if you do this, but usually the night before I'd write like a to-do list. And so like I would like kind of tell myself subconsciously like when I wake up I gotta meditate, you know. And so like when you just
Mhm.
set that goal up the night before, it kind of makes it easier for you to do it like the day after. So I don't know if you do that right now, but if you want to kind of like get help into getting into that consistency again, I'd say that just writing a to-do list before you go to sleep will definitely like help for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, that I used to have a pretty good nighttime routine.
Hmm.
I think this is sort of more because of my son, who's 3 months old. Like, my routine now at night is all out of whack. Like, even today, I think I woke up at two a.m. and then 4 a.m. and he's like crying and he needs milk, and
Wow.
I'm just like, I'm all out of whack, right?
Wow.
So, like, my time that I go to bed and the time that I wake up is all messed up.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I was very regimented. Like, I always went to bed at the same time. I woke up at the same time. I had this like very strict schedule before I had kids, and I was
Yeah.
like editing all these videos. Like, this is when my YouTube channel was, kind of first gaining traction.
Yeah.
But now it's like, like, as a father, this nighttime routine, morning routine, ritual that I used to have, it's kind of been thrown a curveball. And there's nights where it's so chaotic. Like, one kid's crying, the other one's crying. You need to do this, need to do that, and by the time they're both sleeping, I just pass out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just so exhausted, I just
Wow.
fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, this is going to be disgusting. But the other night, I fell
Yeah.
asleep and I forgot to like brush my teeth.
Wow.
And then I woke up and I was like, oh, like, I didn't brush my teeth. I felt so
Yeah.
gross because I was so exhausted, and
You couldn't have time for
it
it.
just yeah, it slipped my mind to, like, you wash your face, you brush your teeth, you change your like, didn't even change my
Wow.
clothes. Like, I had my daytime clothes. Like, I have like normal clothes, like, sleep in,
Yeah.
right? Didn't even brush my teeth or change my clothes, and I was like so disgusted. I was like, oh, dude, what is wrong with you, man? I was like,
Yeah. Oh gosh. That sounds so stressful, man.
yeah, it's kids is an interesting thing. It's like an amazing it's an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Like, it's one that I love. I love being a father. I love having these two human beings that are extensions of myself, and I can, mold them and shape them
Wow.
and raise them and teach them, to be good people, right?
Yeah.
And that have this massive responsibility as a person, where it's not all just about me anymore.
Hmm.
Like, there's these two little people that rely on Derek to be a good person, to
Wow.
be a good father,
Yeah.
to be a leader, a provider,
Yeah.
like a strong person that sets a good example, right?
Yeah.
And it's good because it drives me, right?
Mhm.
It gives me more motivation to keep building the business, like setting these goals and dreams that I have.
Wow.
And it's very powerful.
Hmm.
Like, I know kids is not for everyone. It's like a huge commitment to
Hmm.
have. It's definitely not for everyone, but if that's something that you really want in your life, like, it's a lot of work,
Yeah.
but it's one of the most amazing feelings in the world, bar none.
Wow. That's amazing. Obvi-
Yeah, maybe one day, bro.
Obviously, I'm not gonna have it anytime soon, but when that time comes, I know it will be nice to have.
Hmm. And this is why, like, I talk about the school thing so much. Like, if you want to even raise kids or buy your own place to live in, like, how are you going to do that with massive amounts of student debt, right? Like, that's another thing that
Yeah.
is part of this massive equation in life, right?
Hmm.
And it's so tough because I feel for you guys. Like, because when you're 18, you have to pick a degree or a program that you're going to have to do for the next 40, 50, 60
Yeah.
years, right?
Hmm.
Like, I don't know, like in Canada, the age for retirement, it just keeps going up and up and up and up. Before it was like, oh, everyone, you can't work past 65. Like back in the day, you couldn't work after 65.
Wow.
What you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And then now you can. And then now the age for like retirement, I think it's
Yeah.
67. So it keeps going up and up, right?
Hmm.
And so like again, you have to make the best possible decision you can. But when you're 18, like how can you do that? Like when I was 18, I knew
Yeah.
nothing. I didn't know anything about the world. It's so much
Yeah.
pressure to put on young people to make such a huge financial
Yeah.
decision at such a young age.
Yeah.
Like it's if you think about it, like what are the three biggest decisions financially you make in your life?
Mm.
Like a car, a house, and your education,
Yeah.
like university. Those are three massive, massive financial
Yeah.
expenses. And a house and a car, you do that later in life. That's easy. But like 18, you got to pick a career.
Yeah.
Okay, what if you pick one, then all of a sudden you don't like to do it anymore?
Yeah.
Then what do you do? Then what's the plan? Right? So it's one that again I don't have the answer for, but it's such a tough decision to make, bro. It's so
Oh
hard.
yeah. 100%.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, so you got a lot of thinking to do, a lot of
Yeah,
planning.
I do. I definitely got a lot of insight from you, man. Like to hear from your experiences and what it's like to be at your age. That definitely for today, I'd say that definitely like I learned a lot today, and yeah, it was great having this talk with you. I'm actually grateful you had me here, and yeah.
Yeah, man, no problem, dude. Anytime, anytime.
Hmm.
We can always do it again in the
Yeah,
future,
for sure. Like when we
right?
reach like I know we're gonna reach high subscribers one day, and then we'll definitely have another podcast and talk about our YouTube journey, our growth, our stuff like that. But it's only a matter of time. I always like to say this. It's only a matter of time when our physical reality catches up to our mind, because like I know where I'm going to be. My mind's already here, but it's just my physical reality hasn't caught up yet. So it's just that patience, that waiting game until that happens. So yeah, I
Hmm.
see you doing like this. Like this podcast has so much potential, man. Like you got to keep up whatever, like keep up doing the great quality content that you're doing. The shorts is amazing, and yeah, I seen your psychedelic video. Actually, I was like, this is amazing. Like I was so interested. It was like a movie. And now that was we'll talk about that another day, because I actually have like a experience on that, and I want to talk about that. I don't know if we have time for that right now, but yeah, psychedelic is really interesting.
Yeah, that's I can go really deep into the whole
Hmm.
psychedelic topic. Yeah, we'll save it for another time.
Yeah,
Let's end the pod here.
yeah,
Let's wrap this up. This is a great conversation,
yeah.
dude. Tell the people where they can find your stuff, YouTube channel, Instagram handle, all
All
that.
right, so my YouTube is Life with Jaylin. My Instagram would be Starboyjaylin, and that's honestly all I use. So just you can find me on there.
All right, perfect. All right, guys, check out Jalen's work. Super interesting dude. And if you are 18 or younger and in that type of age range, Jalen has a lot of great content and videos centered around self improvement that could definitely help you out.
All right,
So thanks again, bro,
thank
and
you.
see you guys
All
next
right,
time.
peace.
Peace, peace.